following an ambush by suspected Al-Shabaab militants near Langola Simba area on the Lamu-Witu Garsen Road. 8 houses and a church at Salama village were also torched in Lamu West. Led by the Banjuni community spokesperson Yusuf Abubakar and Supreme Council of Kenya Muslim Chair Sheikh Sharif Mukta Timan, they said the utterances could spark hate between communities. They have called on the communities to coexist in peace and harmony. The recent attacks and the third in the area in a span of 2 months have left more than 20 people homeless.
As leaders of Lamu County, categorically state that the allegations by the senator are not true. They are made in bad faith and for sinister motives. It is on record that Governor Isa Abdallah Timami was arrested on allegations of having a hand into the Mpeketoni attacks in 2014. He was investigated and found to be innocent, exonerating him from the said allegations.
Kisha yataka tufahamu kwamba Lamu Northeastern wanaboda na Somalia na shida iko ya terrorism. Hatutaki politicians wajaribu kurusha boli kwa watu wengine.
Inatuuma tukiona Lamu haina usalama. Tunaomba usalama kupitia serikali ya William Ruto atusaidie, na Waziri Kindiki na viongozi wa Lamu washirikiane, haya maafa yakome ili tuweze kuishi kwa amani, ili tuweze kukaa kama kaunti zingine kwa amani.
Elsewhere, the government, in collaboration with different stakeholders, has launched an animal deworming program in Isiolo and Samburu counties. The exercise that targets more than 300,000 livestock has already kicked off in Isiolo County and is aimed at reducing the loss of animals due to diseases. Isiolo County Director of Veterinary Services, Dr. Joseph Murera, says the initiative is also meant to cushion farmers who have already suffered the wrath of famine.
Tuko na ndioma ya kutosha, tumenunuliwa na VSF mandawa ya kutibu, mandawa minyoo, hata IPP unaona wako naye hapa ni wao wamenunua, na pia kuna equipment. Kwa hivyo kwa ujumla tumepewa vitu ya milioni 2 kwa hii kazi. Na vile umesikia ni kwamba tunaenda hiji hapo, tunatarajia kutibu mifugo kama 1,150 hivi. 150,000 livestock in total kwa timu zote 4. Na hii kazi tunafanya sababu unajua tulikuwa kiangazi na tunarajia, tumeambiwa kuna El Nino. Na hii El Nino wajua ikikuja shida ni mingi, na kwa hivyo tutaki kama itafikia, unajua kukiwa na mvua mingi na maji yatapakaa kila pali, kuna likelihood ya Rift Valley fever kutokea.
Moving on, a section of interreligious leaders in Kisii County have vowed to step up community sensitization on gender-based violence. At a workshop sponsored by the National Council of Churches of Kenya, the clergy, both Christian and Muslim, also called for collaboration between the public and private sectors to ensure the vice is eradicated from the society.
Katika mazungumzo yetu tumeweza kupata kwamba nchi pamoja na kanisa ni kitu kimoja, na hivyo tunaposhirikiana pamoja itakuwa ni vema ili tukaweze kwenda nje na tukazungumze juu ya hili janga kwa ajili ya kuweza kuleta uwiano pamoja na misingi dhabiti katika familia na nchi yetu.
Tumeafikiana kwa kauli moja ya kwamba kanisa na dini ndio kwa jumla ndio itaweza kuleta uwiano katika jamii na katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Tumesikia ni shida mbali zimekuja, lakini sana sana tunataka kukabili hilo janga kwa maana linaangamiza watoto wetu, linaangamiza jamii yetu kwa jumla.
The Association of Real Estate Stakeholders claims delays in the processing of title deeds, which has caused a crisis in the sector. They attributed the delays to corruption in various land registries across the country, which they say could be addressed if the government overhauls the registries. The association chairman, Kenywa Wairato, urged the government to ease the title deed issuance process as one way of accelerating the housing agenda. The chairman further noted that changes in land rates and other statutory fees were made by the national and county governments without public participation.
Call for the government of Kenya, in conjunction with county government, to take swift and decisive actions to address the root cause of these delays and ensure that every citizen receives their government documents in a timely manner. The government needs to streamline procedures by re-evaluating and streamlining the processes for obtaining title deeds and other crucial documents to eliminate unnecessary red tapes and bureaucracy, and implement modern technology and best practices to enhance efficiency, like Adi Sasa.
Still on land, a widow from Amukura sub-location in Teso Century is seeking the intervention of authorities to protect her from being evicted from her home. Rofina Opili claims a man is claiming ownership of a 3-acre parcel of land, saying he acquired it legitimately from Rofina's husband, who is now deceased. The man who showed up with the title deed claims to have bought the land from the late Ekurut Opili Emugluk. However, Rufina alleges that her husband died in 1997 and left no documents to show he had sold the land.
Huyo mtu sasa ananihangaisha saa hii, anataka shamba yote. Eka moja, kisitaki kaburi ya bwana yangu. Nikisitaki kichwa ya bwana yangu, nikirudi huko, yeye sasa anakuja kuambia mimi, ati mama, yenda tafuta yako pia title deed. Na huyu mtu alipataje yake wapi?
Mwenye kuleta pesa ilikuwa baba ya Sorofino, si Sorofino, Nasaru Ojuma Eliani. Kwa hivyo walipiga bei na mwenye kuuza, hawa wakakubaliana shilingi 11,000. Baba ya Sorofina alitoa shilingi 10,000 cash money. Ngea hapo wakati ya kumaliza hii shilingi 1,000 ndio safari itakuja kutolea huyu mzee eka yake moja. Lakini ile maneno ingine hii mimi sijui ya eka 3.
Now, the government and development partners are committed to ensuring the livelihood of the people in communities hosting refugees is not negatively affected by the influx of immigrants, which causes competition for resources. During a tour of several projects under the Kenya Development Response to the Displacement Impacts Program KDRDI in Modogashe, Lagdera constituency in Garissa County, ASOL and Regional Development Principal Secretary Idris Dokota commended the initiative, noting that the numerous projects have greatly contributed to reducing poverty and inequality in the region.
Kazi yetu ni kueleza serikali iendelee na project. Kwa sasa tunashamaliza phase 1. Tutafika na phase 2 ambayo tuna hope kwamba itafanyika. Ingawa ndio pia kuna grant.
So we came up with the drought recovery strategy where we ended up having initiatives such as restocking, because restocking, most pastoralists lost livestock, a number of livestock. So we are trying to do restocking, although it's on small scale, subject to little resources that we have received. The government is actually well prepared in responding to drought and other emergencies in this country.
Back to the city, where the Water Resources Authority, WRA, has reaffirmed its commitment to uphold water quality standards while enforcing pollution control measures for Nairobi River. While addressing challenges faced in efforts to rehabilitate the river, WRA Chief Executive Officer Mohamed Shuri and Principal Secretary for Water and Sanitation Kiprono Rono called for collaboration and embracing of a multidisciplinary approach to help deliver a healthy ecosystem for aquatic life and encouraging sustainable practices to further improve the water quality in the city.
This is an exercise that we need to involve now the community. People have to work together because they have to own the
the landowners must come in and they also work with us very closely, and they have to own this exercise.
Of importance is to ensure that we provide the required sewerage infrastructure for the people of Nairobi, so that this continuous dumping of pollutants into the river stop. At the same time, we want to make sure that we work together with the community along the rivers.
We cannot be talking about climate change, yet in our capital city, Nairobi, the river here is in a mess. We want to urge the community and everybody else, Kenyans at large, that there are benefits to be drawn from cleaning our river.
We will be working under one government approach to ensure that we look at the root cause of the pollution of Nairobi River. We need to map out all these effluent discharge points.
And at about 14 minutes past the hour, we are due for our first break. But when we come back, we still have more news, including the latest from the world of sports.
Government of Turkana welcomes you to the Ehale Center in Lodwar Town for the 7th edition of the Turkana Cultural and Tourism Festival. From the 12th to the 14th of October 2023. Come, experience the origin of mankind with its unmatched beauty, from the beaches of Lake Turkana to the oil wells of Lokichar. Live on Channel 1, Radio Taifa and KBC Turkana Service.
Pombe ni pombe mtu wangu, and we want to go through a life transforming testimony.
Nimeingia kwa pombe mbaya sana. So I used to change wanawake. Nikitoka kwa niko kwa uni, because the only thing I wanted is the attention. Hiyo attention yenye mku nipe nikiwa mtoi, hata sasa nikiwa mtu mzima ndio na demand. Hata mzee alikonda kabisa, sababu nashinda unaenda church kupreach nini na mtoi wako ndio mtaa. Nikakuwa wasikukunywa, sikulangi, siwezi kula sababu bila kunywa tei lazima nikunywe tei asubuhi. Hiyo chang'aa kikombe ni gonge ama keg ndio nipate appetite ya kula.
Why is that, Aunt? Were you the one that had him beaten?
Lena cannot do anything against us, because if she were to dare, I know exactly how to hit her where it hurts.
To tell them the truth, that the Molinas forced you to do it. Please, Victor.
I can't do that, Carolina.
My brother-in-law.
Go and figure out a way, Isabel. But I do not want to see you getting close to him ever again. Understood?
How do we go about being able to survive these harsh economic times?
We generally say that the cost of living has just become too high for us as Kenyans. And these are the basic things that we need to be able to survive on a day-to-day basis. So we really need to look for a way of navigating through that.
Try and cut cost of their living standards. Try and cut cost of their rents where they are doing businesses.
Which are some of the investments I can get into to help me through tough economic times?
You can start a side hustle.
The benefits for joining Women in Business Network, our work is to connect you to reach, engage like-minded people.
Ikitoka nje ya hii gate, usifungulie mtu mwingine yoyote.
Ulitoka hapa kwangu na hasira, hadi ukanivunjia paka mlango. Tena umerudi wewe na hasira. Nikueleweje mimi?
Achana na mimi.
Amefukuzwa na nani? Amfukuzwa na babako. Kaeke begi ende jikoni ukapike.
Yaani mimi nitoke ntokako? Wewe unketi tu hapo. Alafu mimi ninge jikoni nikupikie. Twende. Baba twende. Zito atakwenda kanijua mimi ni nani.
Welcome back to Lunchtime News. Moving on, people with hearing impairment are decrying their isolation in the society due to lack of sign language interpreters in public places. Speaking during a Deaf Awareness Week event in Thika, Paul Masharia, a sign language instructor, said that every public and private sector must have a sign language interpreter as required by law, asserting that sign language is recognized as a third language besides English and Kiswahili. He added that people with hearing impairment face a lot of challenges, especially when seeking services from facilities like hospitals and police stations, where most of them end up not being served due to communication barriers.
Hakuna mkutano yoyote ya public inafaa kufanyika kama hakuna interpreter. Kwa hospitali kuna challenge kwa sababu mgonjwa akienda pale hospitalini na ile ugonjwa wako nayo inahitaji kupeana wa historia yake. Hana injury yenye daktari anaweza ona, most of the times hataweza kumtibu kwa sababu hataweza kujielezea. Wanashikwa, kunatokea msako wa polisi. Na wakiwa pale polisi akinja, akimshika akimuongelesha hamjibu. Na yeye polisi anafikiria huyu mtu ni ile wanasema ananyeta, anakuwa kichwa ngumu. Lakini ukweli ni kwamba hajaelewa.
Sisi kama watu wasikii tunauliza serikali tusaidie angalau kidogo, na pia wawe wakitupa msaada.
And now for our next story, we cross over to the Nairobi hospital where Professor Anyang' Nyong'o, who is a Kisumu County Governor, and he is a chief guest as we celebrate the World Chronic Myeloid Leukemia. Let's first of all hear what he has to say.
It helps save life rather than let somebody begin worried about how sick they are. They should be celebrating how well they are all the time. Then we'll have a very healthy society. So in schooling, in public awareness programs in the counties, we are trying to give health information to primary school kids, high school kids, and so on. So because we emphasize prevention. So I think that this program is very important, and that is why I was saying in there that investing in community health workers, in investing in community health workers, counties and the national government will do a great job. And that is why in the place like Kisumu, when I came in, they were called community health volunteers. And you know, a volunteer can down their tools whenever they want. Community health workers, however, have a contractual obligation to us, and we make sure that they are remunerated very well, so that they don't get tempted to, after training and so on, to go off. And I think that is very important. But let me leave the rest to my professionals.
What is there? Daktari, perhaps to start us off, maybe we can talk about the importance of universal health coverage as far as the treatment of this disease is concerned, from a doctor's perspective. Which I'm not an expert in, but of course, if you have universal health coverage, then one thing you are going to make screening, early detection, early diagnosis, treatment available and affordable. It has to be accessible, it has to be affordable, yes, and it has to be effective. It has to be quality. Yeah. And we understand that not many people...
Very well, that was the professor who happens to be the governor for the great county of Kisumu, Professor Anyang' Nyong'o there. And some of the things that he has been able to speak about is the public awareness program in regards to this type of leukemia, saying that it needs to be stepped up. Another thing he's mentioned is emphasis on the community health workers, and especially now that the government has recognized them. Yusuf Farah will be back with a comprehensive detail in our subsequent bulletin. But let's now cross over to the world of sports, where national women's soccer team Harambee Starlets went down 1-0 against host Cameroon in the Women Africa Cup of Nations qualifier match played last night in Douala, Cameroon. The lone goal was netted by Eliane Monbolambo in the 7th minute. The two teams will meet again here in Nairobi on Tuesday next week In the second leg of the qualifier, the aggregate winner of the two-legged qualifier will face either Gabon or Botswana in the second round, scheduled to be held in November this year. The victor of the second round will secure automatic qualification for the 2024 Africa Women's Cup of Nations due in Morocco. Further afield, world champions Spain beat Sweden 3-0 in their inaugural Women's Nation League match, while European champions England held on to a narrow 2-1 win against Scotland at the Stadium of Light and began their quest to secure qualification for Great Britain in the Olympic Games. In other matches, Denmark recorded a 2-0 win over Germany and France beat Portugal 2-0.
With the corner in towards Daly, and there she is to open the scoring for England.
In their first fixture since losing the World Cup final, England went back to winning ways with a 2-1 win against Scotland, thanks to Lucy Bronze and Lawrence Hemp's headers in the 39th and 45th minute.
But Bronze, brilliant run, brilliant header, brilliant goal for England.
Kirsty Hanson pulled a goal back for Scotland right before half-time and subjected England to a barrage of second-half attacks to no avail.
It's a clever ball across and Hanson has a goal, and she scores for Scotland. They get one back.
Instead, the assistant coach, Britta Karlsson.
Elsewhere, Denmark got off to a winning start with a comfortable 2-0 win over Germany. PSG's Amalie Van Gaar's brace in the 23rd and 64th minute was enough to give the host the win. In other matches, world champion Spain beat Sweden 3-2 and France beat Portugal 2-0.
And hand Denmark their second goal of the game. Van Gaar at it once more. And pass back from Gwyn.
Now to the most watched league in the world, English Premier League leaders Manchester United will be aiming to extend their lead at the top of the league standings to 5 points when they host Nottingham Forest today at the Etihad Stadium. In other matches, Brentford will play Everton while Burnley will welcome Manchester United.
City are the only team to win all 5 league matches this season and are top of the log with 15 points, 2 points ahead of Tottenham Hotspur, Liverpool and Arsenal, who will be in action tomorrow. In other matches, Crystal Palace will host Fulham, Luton Town will face Wolves, Brentford will play Everton, while Vincent Kompany's Burnley will welcome Manchester United. Burnley will be looking for their first league win of the season, while United will be aiming to avoid a third consecutive league loss.
I only try and assess them in a way that I need to do for my team. So strengths and weaknesses, I've been in a big club before, I know what it is when you lose a couple of games. The pressure can mount, but it's not for me to talk about them. I mean, the main thing is what they do on the pitch, and that's what I focus on.
Don't forget, we'll be here for all the sights and sounds and also all the goals. Just keep it KBC Channel 1. The big one tomorrow, the North London Derby, Arsenal versus Tottenham. We'll be bringing you all the goals and all the highlights. Thank you indeed so much for watching. My name is Ben Troy Njoe. Byron Abuli has been our sign language interpreter for this live newscast. Do have yourself a blessed afternoon.
Serikali ya kaunti ya Turkana ya kualika kwenye kitovu cha utamaduni cha Ekales, eneo la Lodwar, kwa makala ya 7 ya tamasha ya utamaduni wa Turkana na utalii. tangia tarehe 12 hadi tarehe 14 mwezi Oktoba mwaka 2023. Njoo ujionee asili ya binadamu pamoja na visima vya mafuta vya Lokichar. Kenye kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, Radio Taifa na idhaa ya Kiturukana.
And I miss you more than my life. Nakupenda kama pesa. We are getting out of money.
Mapenzi ni upumpafu.
Another one is about to bite the dust.
Toka mene. Why are you killing Farah before his time?
Julia, you can kill the messenger but not the messenger. And I am the messenger.
I can't believe this. I have wasted my precious time listening to love story ya ng'ombe wanne.
Barabara kabisa mtazamaji, hujambo mahali popote ulipo mchana wa leo. Karibu kwenye makala ya dunia wiki hii.
Bila shaka asante sana kwa kujumuika nasi.